What's up, guys? So today's video on the nerfs and buff, the nerfs to top tiers for this patch, and the next one will be on buffs. I was actually recording this, and then I ran out of space on my hard drive mid-recording, so I gotta redo this, and that stinks. But anyway, so yeah, let's just go through all the characters, talk about like where I think they're gonna like move on the tier list, if at all, and how I think their playstyle might change. And starting off, talk about Wario. So this character got hit potentially the hardest to a lot of people. So first change, up tilt, lingers from frames 8 to 15 now instead of frames 8 to 19. Which, honestly, this move was really busted, and it's still really good. It still lingers quite a bit. It'll still give you frame traps. And I don't think the up tilt change is actually going to matter too much. I think it's more like fringe cases where it's going to matter, considering it's still lingering for almost like 10 frames. It's still going to lead to combos off late hit up tilt, and it's still going to be a pretty good move overall. Because I feel like those extra 4 frames shaved off the hitbox, like, were more situational, honestly. Although I'm not a Wario player, so if I'm wrong, please let me know. With that said, the big change obviously was Waft. So, I remember actually commentating with Korean at, I think it was Frostbite, and it was one of the tweak sets. And he told me that a lot of times Wario players want to use the Waft before it's full, because it's a lot harder to combo to full Waft than half charge, which is something I knew. But it was so cool to hear like that reinsurance on this. And the thing is, full Waft pre-patch came out frame 9. Post-patch, half Waft comes out frame 8. Now, pre-patch, this half Waft came out frame 5. So, like, now you're looking at what is basically like the hard to combo into version of Waft is the normal stage 3 half Waft for Wario. And that's a big deal. That means things like, up throw Waft, which is one of those things that started becoming something I think recently no longer would work. Like, Nair Waft isn't going to work nearly as well. Even like the windows like up tilt Waft and up air Waft. I'm sure they work, but they're going to be much tighter and much easier to avoid with proper DI, depending on the characters. I won't be surprised if, for example, floaty characters basically don't get caught by like combos into Waft anymore at all, even on half Waft. And that's a big deal. And then full Waft comes out frame 12 instead of frame 9, which it was hard to combo to that move in the first place. And while I'm sure, especially on bigger characters, there'll be combos for it, that is a pretty big loss in combo potential. And you're going to be forced to kind of burn your Waft before it's full even more often now. And I won't be surprised if the move turns into more of like a read move, like, read a spot dodge, read a roll, parry something, as a general punish tool move, instead of a combo into move. Because I think the only reliable combos on half Waft are going to be like up tilt and up air, like late hit up tilt and like falling up air, at certain percents on certain characters. With that said, like, the character is still gonna be good, but I don't blame people for thinking he drops out of high tier. And this coming from someone who thought he was the best in the game. Keep in mind. But like, it's definitely a huge deal, even with his like amazing air mobility, really good grounded moves, edge guarding, great aerials overall, insane recovery, air command grab. Like, he has all these crazy tools, so he could honestly still stay in top tier. And the Waft changes might not be enough to stop the combos. But on the other hand, it's very possible this character got hit hard, that he's like only a high tier. He's only like a top 20 character in Ultimate. Oh my god, big deal. But actually it does hurt. He also, I think, has armor 1 frame faster in his full Waft now. I think it's like frame 4 armor instead of 5. It's not that big of a deal, to be honest, regardless of what it is. So I don't really want to talk about it. But it seems like they want Waft to be more of like kind of a punish move and a read move as opposed to a combo ender, which I think is fair. Now, another character that hit I won't say pretty hard, but definitely it's noticeable, is Palutena. So, I guess it's pretty hard. So, let's talk about her. She might not be a top tier, although I think it's unlikely. I think, despite the nerfs we're going to talk about, she overall has a lot of like the best buttons in the game alongside crazy good attributes. But yeah, so forward air. And this nerf is pretty big. So this move has 2 more frames landing lag, now it's 9 frames instead of 7. This move is now, when done perfectly, -5 and block instead of -3. What this means is if you block the forward air, you can actually put on a lot of pressure. Because like before, if you like forward air someone's shield, between like the -3 and block fair until like her mobility, like dash back, dash attack, Nair versus characters without crazy good shield options, like, she was really scary. And she still is going to be with forward air and your shield. But like, in comparison, it's the same amount of shield safety as back air, which is one of those moves where you hit someone shield back air, a lot of times they can like challenge you going for a nair with their aerial. A lot of times they can like roll away and you can't chase 2 without hard reading it. A lot of times they like parry it to punish. If you don't do the back air perfectly low to the ground, or as versus a character with like fast outshot options up close, you get punished. So yeah, gotta be really smart with your back air, and it's generally used as a way to challenge moves because the iframe's on it. And now forward air is gonna kind of be the same way. And that might be a problem for her. It also means she'll have a little less of a combo like window for a lot of things like fair into nair, fair into dash attack, whatever. Because of the extra landing lag. And I feel like offensively using fair to apply pressure, while it's not quite gone, isn't going to be like her main game plan using forward air now. And it also just feels kind of ugly to move like with Palutena now. Now she was a top 5 character, almost like undeniably top 10 at worst. And she might still just be a top 10 character. But then dash attack. This move honestly the smallest of the 3 nerfs. It now has 3 more frames and lag. So it's easier to punish. And honestly with like the less hitboxes move, like the late hitbox, it was kind of hard to punish it. So it shouldn't be an issue anymore. This also means when she hits someone with dash attack though, that like she can't chase nearly as well. Especially at lower percents, it might mean she dash attacks someone that has to like respect their landing, which will stink for like combos into dash attack, using as a general punish tool. And even at mid and high percents, it means people have more time to reset the neutral after she dash attacks them. And that was already kind of an issue with her where like you dash attack someone with Palu, and then they have a chance to reset the neutral. And then finally her grab. Her grab got nerfed pretty hard. It was only a 2 unit difference in grab range. But like it's a difference of like grabbing here versus like there. Maybe even like here would have grabbed patch, I think. So like it's pretty noticeable. It's still like kind of a pseudo spacing tool, but before this grab like had the range of her jab pretty much. And like could be used as like a legit like spacing tool, like a tilt or something. So that's pretty big for her neutral, because she lacks like good grounded spacing tools. And this also means that she has more trouble punishing things that I showed, right? Because there's a lot of things that she could punish that I showed the grab, because how massive it was. Then now she can't punish anymore. So like, that's gonna be a big deal. You know, even for things like covering like the ledge options, you know, catching landings. Like there's so many things where it's like having less range on her main like grounded tool is gonna hurt her a lot. And like it's still an above average grab for sure. And she still has, you know, combos off of it, low percents into like back air, even like mid percents on like some characters. Still can get like good positioning off of it. But it's gonna hurt her a lot. And I'm kind of feeling like this character is gonna become a much more defensive based character than she already was. Because I feel like in particular like her offensive game with these nerfs was hurt pretty hard. And I won't be surprised if a lot of people kind of stop playing her because of that. You know, she'll be really good. It's like, you can't quite go off with her anymore. I didn't think about it until now, but like fair like combos, like fair, might not work as well, which can hurt her a lot as well, to be honest. We'll see. Alright, next up, talk about Zero Suit. Zero Suit definitely got overall like slaps on the wrist. Not that big of a deal. As long as her down B stays the same, it's hard to make her anything less than a top tier, because that down B alone is better than some characters in the game. But yeah, so first change to talk about is up B. This move comes out frame 6 instead of frame 4. And this is honestly a nerf that's not too big of a deal, I think. It does mean the niche cases of like where someone misspaces on their shield with a move that's barely punishable by up B, you know, is now not gonna get punished. Keep in mind this move is very small range, right? Like very tiny hitbox. So a lot of times Zero Suit players utilize this move by like running up and like reading someone, like spacing an aerial, retreating, or like catching a landing with it. So like, okay, you're doing an aerial, run up, shield, up, yeah, shield. Or maybe like to read like a spot dodge or a roll, you'd use it. In that case, it's still the same thing, just react a little faster generally. I guess this also means technically things like down smash up B, down B, parry up B, neutral B up B won't work nearly as well because it takes longer to start up. And that might affect her combo game, but I don't think that's gonna like hurt her too much. Once again, the kind of niche like edge cases is gonna matter. But yeah, I think the worst change about this up B thing is just gonna be her doing like aggressive like run up and like shield something, parry something up B is gonna be hit quite a bit. Now the nair change though, this move has 2 more frames landing lag, I believe. It went from -2 on block to -4, which actually pretty significant. We just talked about how Palutena's like fair change is significant for stopping pressure. combos. So it's kind of similar, you know, more landing lag means also easier with punish. But another noticeable factor is that for Zero Suit in particular, kind of like Palu had like fair nair as a good pressure tool on a lot of characters, Zero Suit could do nair into jab, and if she did the nair perfectly, so it was -2 in block, and the opponent did anything as shield, unless it was like a parry, I think, nair jab would hit him. Because her jab is frame 1. So it would lock you in shield, like, okay, nair, oh, you tried rolling? Catches your roll. Try jumping, catches your roll. I mean, catches your jump. Try attacking, catches your attack. And like, you had to hold that shield pressure versus her. And now, when she nairs your shield, it's no longer an issue. Even perfect nair, you can roll out of it before she jabs you. You can jump back. And the jab, probably character dependent, but shouldn't hit you. If you have a fast up air shield, you can hit. Like a fast aerial out shield, maybe you can like trade if she has like nair into like a jump or something. And like, that's another thing. Like, nair into anything else is now worse. And so it makes her offensive pressure definitely worse. And kind of like Palutena, I think might cause Zero Suit players play a little bit more passive to abuse like their down B and their Zair and the side B more. Which, it is what it is. So it's definitely going to hurt the character a bit, but like, the character is almost definitely going to be top 10 still. So yeah. Overall, maybe, unless there's like some very specific, like, unless she loses like nair down B for some reason, which is a really powerful, like, situational, but extremely good combo she can fish for, like, she'll be good. And I don't think she's losing that from this little change. Now, the other character that got nerfed significantly was Joker. Actually, I'm significantly. No, what am I saying? What am I saying? I gotta smack myself for that one. Joker got hit in like the tiniest like wrist slap in the possible like way. Like, honestly, this character might have gone from, in my opinion, like top 3 or 5, because I thought Wario was number 1, to legit number 1, because the nerfs were so tiny to him and Wario got hit so hard. So side B now is 3 more frames of end lag when it's a regular side B, not even arson side B, which does mean you can't do things like full hop side B into like jumping. So it does kind of stop your ability to like move around with side B and pressure, especially for taller characters who got hit by this. But I don't think that matters too much. It's still gonna be a really good spacing tool. And the grounded side B is basically the same. Like, you know, if someone like jumps over and hits you, they probably got it regardless. It just means that window force is a little bit higher. And it means the character's follow-ups on side B is a little bit worse, but like, he can't really combo off side B too well anyway. I know he had like setups like that, and like he can still kind of do that. It's still gonna be the same. And then down B, when he has arson out, now it's 3 more frames end lag. Now this move, to be fair, was pretty hard to punish, to be honest, on whiff, especially online. Especially online, this move is actually busted online. So the 3 frames extra is definitely gonna be noticeable, and it is nice to get like a little more time to punish it, but it's not gonna be a big deal. Once again, it's like, alright, you know, if this character whiffs their down B, you know, cool, you have a better chance to punish. Maybe a slightly bigger punish, but more likely just more consistent punishes. Which, you know, good Joker players would use this when it's like a guaranteed hit, like, you know, on a recovery, or like you're doing a very slow attack, or you're just being obvious. So the situations where this matters in probably don't show up too much. But yeah, it's something, I guess. Definitely still a top tier, and I don't want to see any Joker players complaining about this. If they do, shut up. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Don't complain about this. Your character's still top tier, and arguably benefited by the nerfs to other top tiers. And finally, the other character that got hit in this patch was Min Min. You know, character I play personally, and I think these nerfs were like basically nothing. So, 3 nerfs. First one, you can no longer hold the forward smash charge nearly as long. Which, very noticeable, honestly. If you look at this, like, I'm holding as long as I can, and that's, like, not nearly as long. So, it does make her 2-framing worse. But honestly, at the same time, it's not going to change much. Like, it kind of hurts, like, bad minions in a way, where it's like, bad minions will just kind of do this, like, whenever. And I guess it does mean characters who can delay their recovery are fine. But she's so many ways to edgeguard, and it's still a really good 2-frame, honestly, just doing this. That, like, I don't think it matters much. It's gonna hurt a little bit. Characters with really, like, long-lasting, like, off-stage games, like floaty characters, multi-jump characters, who can really delay their recoveries, will get back easier as a result. You will have to kind of make, like, reads on this more, as opposed to just reacting. And you have to go for more like edge guards like this, but yeah, it's gonna hurt, but not like drop it down anywhere, I think. Now her Dragon Laser got a whopping 5 base knockback like reduction in her knockback. Wow. Wow, oh my, that's so crazy. Like, it is gonna affect her ability to like kill you with some cheese. Like I think a situation like this, Byleth would live where she wouldn't live, or he wouldn't live before. So I can do it. If I can get the right percent. But yeah, like it's gonna mean that characters who die, like certain situations for Min Min, that laser would kill you in, won't kill you anymore. Like that would kill pre-patch almost for sure. But even then, with how much knockback the move has after everything else, and like the edge guard ability Min Min has, she likely can just kill you afterwards regardless, and that wasn't really an issue. I think this also affects the buff laser. So once again, like you're gonna live in situations you wouldn't live before, off of like combos, dumb setups, whatever. But I think she can chase you pretty aggressively in those situations and kill you easily regardless. And there's those situations where the Dragon Laser is still gonna kill you, even after the nerf. So like the fact that it didn't really hurt her neutral is a big deal, and she still gets to rob you of stocks in games. And then finally, air dodge. Apparently, her air dodge had less and like than average, which honestly, I barely notice the difference when I do this. So I don't know. So it's like that is a nerf, but considering I don't even notice it, I play her a lot. It's like I don't know. So yeah, overall should be fine. Just a little bit less cheese. Has to be a little more skillful. And I think that's the big thing is like low level minions who rely on her cheese get hurt a bit by this, but like the good minions, I don't think they even notice the differences. I think this was like specifically targeted at like people playing Mimic and just mashing and kind of stealing games from players that like they were worse than. Very good character, by the way. And yeah, that's it for all the relevant like nerfs. Diddy Kong's down B has a nerf where it's like tossing a down B until like pulling another one is slower, and I think that was a stop like into infinite. But yeah, that's really it. I kind of would like to see more patches like this, to be honest, in terms of nerfs, where it's like nothing too insane, but like it just nudges these top tiers down a little bit so other characters can compete more. So yeah, good patch overall. The only one that is suspect is Wario, and we'll see. But I honestly think it'll be fine overall. I think the dedicated Wario mains will still do very well with the current version of Wario.